Time now is 8:53. In the 15 years since Hurricane Katrina, the federal government has invested millions and millions of dollars to create a strong levee protection around New Orleans and the surrounding cities. Civil engineer with levees.org, H.J. Bosworth, is joining us now to detail just how far we've come. Good morning, H.J.
Good morning. We have come.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
We have come a long way from 2005. What we had there was, as they say, a system in name only. Weak spots everywhere. We had over 50 breaks in the protection system at the time, and now we have a much more robust system. Certainly, we could get a better system. 100-year protection is reasonable, but 500-year protection for a major metropolitan area is a preferred level of protection for us.
I know, 15 years ago, I remember I was living in Shreveport. I was 14 at the time, and I remember it being a huge deal on the news cycle and not realizing what was it about it that caused such devastation. And now we kind of know a big part of that was the breaking of those some of those levees. Obviously, Hurricane Laura is still on a lot of people's minds. It just hit just a day ago, or almost 2 days ago, and it was very powerful, 150-mile-an-hour winds. If a storm like that had come eastward and hit us dead on, much kind of the way that Katrina did 15 years ago, how do you think it would have held up?
I think our system would have held up reasonably well. Every one of these storms has a different personality, a different makeup, if you will. The storm surge that they had predicted for Lake Charles was much, much higher than the actual storm surge. That storm was a tight storm. It wasn't large. It didn't take up, hundreds and hundreds of square miles of the Gulf of Mexico before it hit, whereas Katrina did. It was a monster. It had a lot of water. It had a lot of energy, shoving water into Lake Bourne, into the Mississippi Sound, and tidal surges that were, prior to that, unheard of. So, a nice tight storm like that, we would have survived reasonably well. Certainly we would have had downed trees, and we would have had, the sort of wind issues that you have with a storm like that.
Yeah, the wind was.
Yeah,
the wind was certainly the biggest, I feel like, component for this most recent storm. But you feel like overall the levees have definitely come a long way after Katrina. More because we now know what a storm like of that nature can really do to our area.
Right. Yeah. Our protection system, and I'll go ahead and call it the protection system, is much more robust. Certainly, it can be better, and we're all about pushing for, better levees and better protection and better flood walls and all that good stuff. Better pumping, in particular, since in the past few years the biggest problem that we've had is getting rid of rainwater, not necessarily resisting storm surge.
Gotcha. Well, H.J. Bosworth, levees.org, thank you so much for joining us as always to shed some light on that.
Thank you.
All right.